It is a common tendency for movie viewers to overlook unrealistic portrayals or elements of a film that appear illogical, as the purpose for most movie viewers is simply entertainment. Those who watch Disney movies are especially subject to this, as it is easy to get lost in the innocent and cheerful nature of the films. One primary example is Disney's The Jungle Book, a heartwarming, family-friendly tale full of music, dancing, and lovable animals, elements that hinder the audience from recognizing the truly frightening reality of a child raised by animals. There are many deeper psychological implications not addressed in this film that lead to the questioning of the way the main character, Mowgli, should truly behave considering his upbringing. In order to evaluate the realistic nature in which Disney depicts a child who was brought up by animals, it is important to reference a variety of psychological topics, especially relating to child development. Before jumping in, let's take a moment to review the storyline of the movie. The Jungle Book depicts the story of Mowgli, a boy discovered in the jungles of India as an infant and raised by a family of wolves after being presumably abandoned by his parents. However, upon hearing that Shere Khan, the human-hating tiger, has returned to the jungle, the wolf family decides they are not fit to protect Mowgli from the tiger and set him free from their care. Upon being deserted by the wolves, Mowgli's friend Bagheera, a black panther, takes him on a journey throughout the jungle to reunite him with human civilization. Along their journey, they meet a number of animals who wish to befriend and take care of Mowgli. The behaviors Mowgli displays throughout his journey in this movie are a colossal misrepresentation of the manner in which any human would truly act having been raised by animals, one that can be better understood through the comparison of real-life examples. Throughout history and all across the world, there have been a number of reported cases of children being raised by animals, often referred to as feral. Encyclopedia Britannica defines feral children as children who, through either accident or deliberate isolation, have grown up with limited human contact. Such children have often been seen as inhabiting a boundary zone between human and animal existence. This definition applies to Mowgli, but his relation to true feral children ends here. One prominent and comparable story to Mowgli's is that of feral child Marcos Rodriguez Pantoja, abandoned at the age of 7 in the Sierra Morena, a deserted mountain range in Spain. From the ages of 7 to 19, Marcos was raised by wolves, whom he explains protected and sheltered him. When Marcos was discovered by police, he was wrapped in a deerskin and had long matted hair. It was discovered that he lost the use of language and instead communicated by barking, screeching, chirping, and howling. Other examples of feral children throughout history include Natasha, a 5-year-old girl raised by wild cats and dogs in Siberia, who, upon discovery, was seen dressed in filthy clothing and barking. Another example is Andrei Tolstok, a 7-year-old raised from infancy by his family's guard dog, who, as a result, sniffed, bit people, and walked on all fours. Mowgli, in comparison, exhibits a number of behaviors that do not align with those seen in feral children, nor can they be explained by psychology. When comparing these behaviors, it is important to reference the theory of observational learning, a primary manner in which children develop behaviors through modeling the actions of others around them. A substantial amount of Mowgli's behaviors do not correspond with actions that could have been observed by wolves or any other animals whom he was watching. One major example of this is the fact that Mowgli walks on 2 feet. This is not logical, considering walking on 2 feet is a human behavior, one that would not have been observed in his wolf family. In comparison, real-life feral children, documented to have been raised by wolves or wild dogs, exhibited the learned behavior of walking on all fours, rather than 2 feet. Other unrealistic behaviors Mowgli displays include eating by using his hands, giving hugs, throwing objects, pouting by folding his arms and sticking out his tongue, and mimicking fighting behaviors used by humans, like punching and kicking. He even tickles his bear friend Baloo, to which Baloo replies,
No, we don't do that here. No.
So where, considering Mowgli has never left the jungle, would he have learned that behavior? Had Mowgli correctly undergone the process of observational learning, he would have been walking on all fours, eating with his mouth, and barking to communicate. One key characteristic shared by all these children, with the exception of Mowgli, of course, was their rejection of humans and lack of desire to be a part of civilized society upon discovery. Upon eventual rescue, many made attempts to flee. One 10-year-old boy, discovered to have been raised by wild dogs in Chile, dove into the Pacific Ocean during winter in an effort to escape the custody of police officers who had rescued him. The reactions of these children, as well as the inaccuracy of Mowgli's behaviors, can be explained by the attachment theory, a psychological concept defined as a deep and enduring emotional bond that connects one person to another across time and space. Attachment, for the most part, develops during what psychologists consider a critical period, of which children ages 0 to 5 are most susceptible to forming this bond with their primary caregiver. Mowgli would have formed his attachment during this period, considering he was found as an infant and remained in the jungle until he was 10. There are multiple theories as to why one forms an attachment. Some state that it is determined by whomever feeds the infant, and others state that attachment is determined by care and responsiveness. Both theories, however, would suffice as explanation as to why feral children rejected a society away from their caretakers, and why Mowgli should not have been so eager to leave his family, those who both cared for and nourished him. Growing up in an environment surrounded by individuals in which one has adjusted to, been protected by, and built a relationship with, it only makes sense that children would not want to abandon what they have come to recognize as their home and family. However, the opposite is true for Mowgli. At the end of his journey through the jungle, he catches sight of a young girl from the village. Without a second thought, Mowgli deserts his animal friends and follows the girl into the village, where he presumably resumes his life as a normal boy. Going forward, it is important to interpret innocent movies such as The Jungle Book with a more critical eye. Learning to question the realities constructed in movies, especially those from the not-so-innocent Disney franchise, offers the potential to bring about a newfound and intellectually stimulating value for viewers. Next time you watch The Jungle Book, try to look past the catchy tunes and picture what Mowgli's life should have really been like, with those of true feral children in mind.